Well, hey, everybody. I am getting ready to travel, so I'm kind of like no makeup, dog here, my tree's not turned on. I'm just going to give a minute to see if anybody notices that I'm here. And it has been, man, what a cray week. So, um, hey, good to see you. Karamia, good to see you. Hi. I'm really, as you can tell, no makeup. No, I just started by saying no makeup, no nail polish. Woo, okay. Stevie33, good to see you. Um, hey, Meg. Hey, Tracy. Humanimo. Cayenne. I just love your name. That is just so neat. It's like Ryan, only Cayenne. I love that. I hope I say that right. Hey, Karen. I like to, one of the things that I really got permission, if you will, the permission issue from Duty Ron was to, just to say hi to people that are like chilling with me and, because people criticize it. And I thought, well, I want to say hi. So I'm saying hi for a minute. Hey, Mariah, good to see you. Margie Rocks, of course you do. Cruise Boston, good to see you. Katie, hey, Ontario. I'm doing I'm trying to think what time it is. I think I've got a radio interview tonight in British Columbia, so it's the other side of the continent. Aw, you're so sweet. Thank you, Humanimal. I'm like no makeup. I'm like just jumping on. Oh, I didn't know that. Kyan, how cool. I really like the name a lot. Gigi, good to see you. Irene, Shayna. All right. So it's been a little bit of a crazy week. And I have to tell you, it's like things have been like up and down. Yeah, Rudy Rico, you're here. Good. Thank you for your comments. Really, I do as much as possible. Everybody try to read them, but with some travel coming up, it may be a little inconsistent. So bear with me. And just wanted to, yeah. Kevin, do you want to say hi? Here's Kevin. I'll tell him. Just get his butt up here. He's actually sitting right next to me. Hey, Boo. Do you want to say hi to everybody? He's still not feeling 100%. So, okay, so there were a couple things I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if you heard about this. This is on the, really, what's wrong with people? I feel like we should have a drum roll. Okay, so this 74-year-old man, did you guys hear this? This 74-year-old man on a bus, and there was a 25-year-old young woman. She pushes him off the bus. He dies. He's trying to get off the bus and she pushes him off. What is wrong with people? And I think it's Kadisha Bishop. That was her name. And she was being rude to people on the bus. And here's this old man and he's saying, listen, be polite, basically. So when I know, right? So when he got up to go and get off the bus, she pushed him. And, the thing that you have to, and by the way, she's up on charges. I'm not sure what they said. I don't know if it was, I know it wasn't manslaughter. I think it was like a form of homicide, but I know. You know what? When I heard this, I thought, how much energetically are we like experiencing pushing, right? Like, I'm just going to push that person out of my life. I'm just going to push something. What an ugly thing to do. It's like Mr. Smith used to say to me when I was little, decorum. I know you have decorum. I know you do. We know you have decorum. I know. So I know, Ms. Helms, no words for it. And exactly, Carolyn, Carrie Lynn, what is wrong with people? Yeah, it's kind of like, I think here's the thing that I find interesting. She was behaving badly on the bus. Okay, this was the thing. She was behaving badly on the bus. So he said to her, hey, behave, right? Remember what we've been talking about, right? Be kind, behave, right? And you know what it is? People feel they're entitled to their anger because somewhere along the line, and don't get me wrong, they were told, you're right. Nobody should tell you to shut up. Well, you know what? I think there was something right about when we were kids when mom would look at me and go, shut up, you know, like, and you'd be like, okay. Because, I mean, we learned this whole thing. A woman to track the bus driver for missing. Yes, I saw that. And this was a Cruise Boston talking about a woman in China. He was driving, and she like hit him. Now there was some speculation as to whether or not he was turning the bus to make her fall, and then he fell off the side. The whole bus. I think the whole bus went over. You know, I have to tell you, thank you, Irene. When I see crimes like this, right? Here's this girl who's 25. And I just have to look. Yeah, woman faces murder count in death of man, shoved off bus. Kadisha Michelle Bishop was arrested Monday on a murder warrant and was assigned a defense attorney. I mean, unruly passenger now faces the murder charge. You know, and they have, by the way, if you really want to just, you know, lose your sugar, just watch the video. It's right there. They have bus videos now. Right, video of her going like that. And you know what? It's, I think that here's the thing. I don't want to invalidate people. There's a fine line here, right? Of saying to people, yeah, you know what? You have a right to be angry. I mean, look, here's the thing. Somebody said to me the other day, they said, how are you? I go, oh, I'm pissed. But I'm not going to go out and shove somebody off a bus or off a mountain or off a cliff and think it's cool. I mean, there is something about thinking that we can do anything we want and that there will be no repercussions for it. And I guarantee you, this girl, Kadisha, who's 25, I guarantee she just pushed him thinking she could do what she wants. And I mean, it's so sad. You've got to see this man splat out on the sidewalk with his little, you know, it's a rolly cart, you know, those laundry carts. And he's obviously carrying that on the bus to go shopping or something. And I think it's kind of, I think the bullying thing is the problem with the bullying, okay? And I think this is where we've really, if you look at YouTube, and I'm gonna just start with YouTube as an example, guys. I know her brain is just barely fully developed, but she's angry as hell. No, I don't want to invalidate her, right? I've got to switch these glasses because these glasses were bothering. Oh, much better. Whoo, much better. Okay. I know those are cooler, but they hurt my eyelashes. You know, I tell you something. I know, Humanimal. It's like, I think what it is it's not that they don't cherish other people. They don't cherish their own life. They don't understand what life is. And I think it's kind of like, let's see. Did you hear about Marlon Lopez? She was 19 years old, 39 weeks pregnant. No. You know what, Mariah? I have enough scarring, okay? Like, I'm just going to say this. All right. So here's what really bothered me, because I don't know if y'all know, emotions are insane, Carrie Lynn. So awful. I'm stunned. You know what's so stunning about it is that I think it's like anything else. You know, when we were in school, right? And you remember when you were in like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, whatever grade, you know, you used to like shove each other. Oh, sorry, Gal. You know, you used to just, come on, shove each other. But I really don't feel that, you know, people really recognize the frailty of our elderly. I think they just see them as useless. And I feel like, you know, it really just kind of gets me. What does that say? Almost all police stations will allow for safe exchange of online goods. Oh, that's a good idea, Cruise Boston. What she's talking about, just so you know, Cruise Boston is talking about is that it was unsafe for this pregnant woman, I'm not going to go too into it, to meet this other person, and there was a crime committed against her. And, you know, what Cruise Boston is saying, it's a really, that's an excellent point, that if you really feel unsafe meeting somebody, meet them at the police station, because you can exchange the goods and it's a safe place. Really, really great. Hey, Ayut, good to see you. Yeah, I know we do live in a different world. So there's a couple things I want to say about this. I'm actually leaving for London Saturday, my happy place. It is my, I really, I am not kidding. When I am in the UK, it is my happy place. I just walk around smiling, you know? And I haven't, you guys ready for story time? I got story with Tori for you. And this is talk about manifesting, right? Karen Code, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Okay, story time. So years ago, and this wasn't that long ago, I had gone through a very bad breakup and I was like kind of trapped in my house. This person was stalking me. I don't want to get into that part, but there was this fabulous online store, and I bought this amazing, like 6 foot by 3 foot. It was kind of a painting of it was literally just curtains fanning out, and it was just hardwood, beautiful dark hardwood floors, and you couldn't see anything after that except for the ocean. So it was obviously somewhere in like Malibu, or it was somewhere far, far away, right? But it was really beautiful, and it could have been anywhere in the world. It was just nondescript. So when I was in that depression, I would literally sit and stare at that picture. I would just sit and stare at it. And people would say to me, I will say hello to Royal Baby. People would say to me, they come into my house and they go, oh, you must want to move to Malibu. And I'd be like, okay. Or somebody else would say, you must want to go to the Caribbean. Okay. And people would be like, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, I don't know. I was just so happy looking at that. And I said, and here's the key, everybody. I said, when I look at that picture, I feel free. I feel a sense of freedom. And everybody was trying to guess what that meant. Oh, thank you, Blondie. 1025. 1025. I wonder, is that your birthday? Oh. I will enjoy my trip. Thank you, Blondie. Ooh, that would be, let's see, Scorpio. Okay. So everybody would kind of jump to conclusion as to what it meant, and people would say, what does it mean to you? Finally, one friend of mine who, I trained, right? She said, so what does it mean to you? And I said, I don't know. I just know when I look at that picture, I just feel free. I just feel this sense of freedom. And what happened was, I went to London. It was the first time I'd been in many years. I ended up going like a few weeks later. Okay, you guys, I have to show you this, like the cutest thing. His little snoot is behind me, like he's my pillow. He's not feeling 100%. So I literally, I was walking down the street in London, and I have to tell you, it was cold, okay, like bitter freaking cold. I'm walking down the street. I had, I looked fabulous, let's just say, okay, because it was London. You can't look bad in London, really. I mean, you're in your like black pants, black boots, you're looking cute, right? So you're walking through London, and I was like, I'd walked, it was cold when I tell you, and I'm running to the theater. Fabulous, right? I'm going to the theater, and I'm, I'm just going to get there in time, and I'm running. All of a sudden, I was like, it was cold, it was dark, it was like about to rain, as London, and I suddenly stopped and realized, oh my gosh, I feel free. And here I was, it was cold, it had nothing to do with the picture on my wall, it had nothing to do with that image of the ocean, it was the feeling that came over me. And that's when I realized that we spend our lives chasing a feeling. We're always looking for a feeling that will allow us to feel free, or allow us to do something in our lives that's more expressive or larger than us. And I think that for me, the Chakra Wisdom Oracle had already come out, and I was already doing a lot of this work. And I think what I'm trying to say to you is that for me, when I read Marie Kondo, the book on tidying up, I had this meme that I freaking love. And it was like, it said, if I got rid of everything that didn't give me joy, I'd be sitting on the curb with my coffee maker and my dog. And that's kind of like how I feel, like it's like, so, okay. So we know I'm not sitting on the corner, but here's the thing. And by the way, everybody, thank you for being here tonight. It's always fun to chat with all of you. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do it because I was like, So the point I'm making in all of this is that the idea of giving you joy, I want to change that word, right? And make it whatever it is important to you. Like, to me, joy feels fleeting. I don't identify with that word. What I feel inside is this kind of feeling like just free, like anything can happen. Like, the old cliche of the world is your oyster. You literally could open it and find a pearl. That is the feeling, it's like, Melissa, you're so funny. That's that feeling of like you open up that oyster and you're like, whoa, if you like oysters, fantastic. And then I get a pearl. So I guess what I'm saying is that, and Cheryl, that's brilliant, because if it is walking the shore and you get to experience that, how incredible. And I think that we forget that we do have an impact on other people. And I think that one of the things I want to say, and coming back to, is it Kadisha? Yeah, Kadisha, this 25-year-old young woman pushing an elderly man out the exit door on the bus, and he died. He died 2 days later of head trauma. He was 74. And when I think of that, she did affect her world, and I think that a lot of times when we look at crime, particularly like senseless crimes, like crimes that are like, are you kidding me? Not that they're all not like that, but I mean, you can understand, like, you can understand some people go, and you go, yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel that way about certain crimes, like the Menendez boys and stuff like that. But I think that I didn't know what it was about that picture. I really didn't. I just knew it was the ocean. And it's funny. I have it actually downstairs now. I don't need it in my world because I achieved the feeling. Like, I got that feeling so solidly that I recognized that everything in my life had to be me moving into that feeling. And my dad used to say, and I think this is so true, you guys, like, please don't ever make happiness your goal. Make peace your goal. Make serenity your intention. Because if you feel peace, if you feel serenity, you'll be happy and you'll be sad, but you'll always have serenity. You won't be in that place of, constantly like, okay. I think constantly that feeling of like, I'm not happy. And you know what? I remember, like, there's a great line in one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you guys remember, Coal Miner's Daughter. And it's a line that, oh God, what's her husband? Boo. What's her husband's name? Loretta Lynn. But anyway, she's sleeping, and they had a challenging marriage, as many people do. And the phone rings. It's late at night, and you don't hear the other side of the conversation. But all you hear, that was it. Thank you. All you hear is, yeah. Well, lady, yeah. A lot of people are lonely. And I just thought, wow. Like, yeah, he really did love her, Crystal. I think it's kind of, it's kind of like this thing of like, and I think it was Mike Wickett who used to say this, and he was a speaker that kind of did one album years ago. It was a CD. And I listened to it over and over and over again. But he used to tell a story about, like, when this happens, I will be. And it's kind of like, here, perfect, Melissa. Melissa just said, it's like people that say, when I graduate, I'll be happy. When I go to college, I'll be happy. When I get married, I'll be happy. When I have kids, I'll be happy. When I get divorced, I'll be happy. It's kind of like we're putting off for someday a feeling that is at best fleeting. See, having a bet, like, I was talking to my publisher today. She called me and we were talking. I love Jo. She's amazing. And anyway, she and I were talking today. She called me, and the Chakra Wisdom Tarot just came out, and we were talking about it, and I still remember what David Lynch said to me, and it was one of those wonderful, juicy things that, you know, it was naivety. I said to him, so what's the best thing about making movies? And he looked at me and said, well, he said, if you make a good one, you get to do it again. And I thought, what? Wait a minute. That's it. It's never about the result. It's about the process of who you become on the way to the result. All of the lives that had to touch yours, all of the people you had to know, everybody who helped you get to that place. That's the journey. It's not like being angry and pushing some old man off the bus. That's not a journey. That's frustration. And here's the thing. Kadisha, Ms. Bishop, she never learned how to deal with frustration. You know, and the sad thing is, here's the sad thing about not learning how to deal with this stuff, is that we are still held responsible for our actions. Even if we don't know that what we're doing is right or wrong sometimes, you know, because I think on some level, obviously she knew it was wrong, but I don't think this woman thought she was going to kill him. And I think that's what we have to look at sometimes is like, I still think she should go for murder. I mean, that's my feeling. I don't think there's any excuse for pushing some old man off a bus. I mean, I think, you know, but here's the thing too. It's like, and with, you know, Cheryl, I'm going to say to you, my dad used to always say to me, you know, remember, kid, patience is a virtue. And he'd walk out there and go, who the hell wants to be virtuous? You know, and it's like, and I always say, if you pray for patience, you'll get long lines. So I don't like to stand, oh, look, I just ripped my shirt today. That must have been when I caught it on the thing. Okay, perfect. It's been that kind of day. I've been packing and organizing. And so, you know, I just threw this on and went, okay, I'm going to go on live. But what I want to say to you about this, and I think I want to come back full circle to what I was talking about with YouTube. And then I want to talk to you about the process. Because I wrote it down. Okay, good. I did write YouTube. So one of the things I want to talk about with, you know, creating, like, for example, my tarot deck. And, you know, I think that there are people, right, who, you know, when you create something, they're going to be mean. They're going to be mean. They're going to tell you you're evil. They're going to tell you, you know, you did it wrong. And here's the thing, you know, the point I'm at in my career where where I'm working now, I'm a writer. It's what I did. You know, it's what I do. So I'm going to create another. Honestly, I love doing this deck, but I probably won't do yet. I have no plans to do another deck, at least not right now. I'm working on 2 books, but I know, look how pretty it is. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, I did this really interesting interview with this girl's show. Her name's Michelle, I think, and her show is Awakenings on Blog Talk Radio, and I did it today. And if you get a chance to listen to that replay, I really talk about the Chakra Wisdom Tarot and what it does. And you know what I said, and I don't know if some of you have been listening to some of the radio shows. I've been doing so many, and one of them, I really talked about the idea of, you know, tarot is no more evil than a gun or a Bible. It's all about the hands it's put into. And I think we have to remember that. It's you know, and what I was telling somebody, I was on a show, and I think it freaked them out because you know, when you start talking about the Bible and you're like, you know, you read tarot cards, they're like, what? How do you know the Bible? And well, I said to her, you know, the big book of shadows, of course, is the Bible. And she's like, what do you mean it's a book of shadows? I said, well, have you read the Bible? And she said, yeah, I've read the Bible. I said, okay, have you ever, like, I spent like a month reading one particular psalm every night with a friend of mine, right? And every night, you know, we'd call each other on the phone and we'd read this section. And I think it was the 25th Psalm. But anyway, we read this section, and every single time we read it, it was an entirely different interpretation. And now when I pick it up, I can't even imagine what I saw 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because it's different. And what I was trying to explain is that the reason I say the Bible is the book of shadows is because as you evolve, the messages will evolve with you. So whatever tool you're going to use, and the key to this is that whatever tool you use in your life, as you personally evolve, what you take in will evolve. And there are some people that really can never, ever get any, can elevate themselves. And so when we talk about crime, and I think we talk about senseless crime, I think in some ways it reminds us of our humanity. Because I think that, while we all kind of go, oh my gosh, it's horrifying. I think one of the things that you want to, sorry, my publicist in the UK is like sending me messages going, we need this now. It's like, okay. I'll get to it. I will, I promise, Lindsay. But what I want to say about this is that yeah, exactly, Crystal, you've heard that the book of shadows is the witches. But you see, the truth is that any book that has anything mystical in it is a book of shadows. And so remember that we can, all of us, let's say, we can read one section and see it completely differently. And the lower vibrational energy you have, the more desperation you will feel reading it. Reading anything, think about it. If you pick up a tarot deck and you're lower vibrational energy, you're going to be freaked out by it, right? And if you pick up a Bible, you're going to be so scared. You're going to be like, you have to be this way, and the thing is that I really don't feel that we are meant to live in that fear. I think that, and this is my thing, and I was talking about this because, when you get on spiritual radio shows and they go, and I go, I don't think God intends for us to live in that level of fear, whether we're spiritual people or we're reading the Bible. I really feel like we're here to help each other. And so when I look at this woman who pushed this old man off the bus, I think what we're talking about is someone who never understood that she's part of our humanity. She's not cut off from it. And I think that's the big issue. And going back to bullying and all of those, that's why there are different religions. Let's see, so many misconceptions surrounding tarot. Yeah, I agree about that. And that's why, well, think about this, Melissa. I think you have to really get with religion. Religion is a language, okay? It's a language. And when we have a shared language, we communicate better. We just do. I mean, sometimes I can understand French, but I don't try to speak it because, well, I was in France a number of years ago and I thought it was so cool. And I told the guy I wanted to smoke him. Well, he was intrigued, but my friend was pulling me out of the bookstore. She's like, you shouldn't speak French, Tori. It's just not wise. So I didn't know what I said to him until she told me later. Okay, let's see. I have tarot and oracle cards, but I'm not a tarot reader. You don't have to be. I bought the cards most for fun, and I'm interested in tarot and a lot of different spiritual things. I think, and I want to say, Janet, I really think that's very true. Let's see. I want to see what Humanimal said. If Watts' truth, because he was humiliated and shocked, wish someone took over on scene and made it happen. I don't know what that really means, so I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about decks. And I will go back to, there are religions that only follow the Old Testament. And there's a religion that follows the New Testament. And then there are people that follow Buddha. And then we can go on and on and on about what they're following. The Quran, right? And we have, and I'm just like, I could just keep going. And the thing is that any controlled situation is only going to be as strong as the weakest link. And when we look at it that way and we look at the lower vibration, that there's, we have an obligation to, in a sense, up-level our own energy. Oh, yeah. Humiliated. Okay, thank you, Humanimal. I would say something like that if I learned a new language and I tried to speak it. Yeah, hello. You should have heard some of the other things I said when I tried Italian. Don't even start. Yeah, I know my French is really bad. Okay. I think the thing to remember about, and I was really thinking about Chris Watts the other day, and I think part of it, you guys, is I think we get a little distance from it, and I think we mature through the understanding of what happened. And I really feel, this is going to sound off those charts, I really think he's probably going, oh my God, how can I now get out of this? I think he's really double timing himself and trying to like go, well, now what do I do? Because it's, you know, they can't say he was coerced. I mean, it's just all so crazy. But the bottom line is even if he does, and I think the people said, oh, I hope this happens. I think what's even better is that I think that Chris Watts has just enough sanity to recognize that he is going to pay for the rest of his life. Okay, Humanimal just said this about, oh God, Bella, I'm going to talk about her in a minute. If when the man was pushed and he refused help or ambulance, it's probably because the murdered humiliated him by pushing him. Oh, no, honey. Okay. If you see the video, you're going to just want to hurl. I am not kidding. You're going to just be like, bleh, because literally the video, because buses have video now, you know, she shoves him and there's a cut of him, cut two, right? He's laying on the ground, splayed out on top of his little cart. He never regained consciousness. He was immediately taken to the hospital. He couldn't, he hit the concrete. This woman pushed him. You know, the buses are like what, 2 feet? I would say about 1.5 feet. Let's say that. And even when they pull up to the curb, he went splat. You know, I know. Oh, you know what? I just think people were shocked. It says, you know what, more discussing, no one helped him. I think people didn't know what to do. I mean, and this can happen. You know, you have to remember, everybody's kind of looking at the girl after it happens on the bus. They're scared for themselves. They're going, oh my God, is she going to pull out a knife? I mean, so I think there was crazy was at work right there. Okay. Just saying. So, let's see. Yeah, I think that's the point. Listen, and honestly, Melissa, he got help very quickly. I think the bus driver probably called it in. You know, they have emergency right there, but he got help quickly. He didn't lay there for endless time, but you know, she pushed him and he hit the concrete. You know, I think it's kind of like that 3-year-old mentality of like, I'm going to hit this and break it. And then you break it and go, okay, well, I guess you broke that. I didn't mean to break it. Well, it's gone. You know, and it's kind of like, you don't even recognize that you don't do that. Okay, I want to just see. I never had good feelings about tarot cards until I heard Tori describe it as intuitive. I tapped into my intuition once I got sober. Yeah, I think yeah. Oh, good. You're reading the book. That's a great book. I have to tell you, the toolkit. Where is it? Oh, it's around here somewhere. This, I think this is what you're talking about, the Chakra Wisdom Oracle Toolkit. The thing about this work for me is that, and I was just talking to my publisher about this. I said, you know, toolkit. The thing about this is that I had a near-death experience, and after that, angels came and started telling me these stories. And, you know, people say, well, how do you know it's not the devil? Well, you know what? I know the devil. I've seen the devil. I do not mess with the devil. Because when you're 8 years old and you see a parent crazy drunk, you've seen the devil. Okay. I mean, we see it in people. We see, when I say devil, I don't mean it like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're only susceptible to it if you have, if you're kind of weak-minded. I know that sounds terrible, but I don't mean it as a mean thing. Let me back up. oh gosh, I don't want to scare people. But years ago, I remember there was a friend of mine's, and this is a whole long story, but I'm going to make it super short. A friend of mine's niece was in a mental hospital, and I said, just give me her chart. I'll run the chart. And I ran the chart, and I looked at it, and I went, yeah, she's gone, you know. And my friend said, what do you see? And remember, I said I have a friend who's the angriest woman in America, who's an astrologer. She's hysterically funny. She looked at it. She said, it's all trines. The woman's crazy. There were no aspects in the chart. I mean, like when I tell you the planets didn't really interact, there were no squares. You know, people talk about the difficult thing aspects in a chart or the difficult energies in a reading. Well, if we didn't have challenges, we wouldn't grow. So when we see too much easy, 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 which we're seeing when everybody gets a trophy, what happens is you don't shape a person's character. And we need so much, we need that. You know, it's like in order to make a diamond, it needs pressure. And I think that I'm gonna get to this, Bella, because I think you're bringing up a good point. And oh, okay, I guess it's being in the medical field, you run into trouble, not away. I'm going to say this to you, Melissa. I think that that's a very thankless job, and I really appreciate the people who do emergency services and all that, and God bless. It's just, you know. But I think what the bus incident happened, I think it was today or yesterday. Well, it was a couple days ago in, I want to say it was Portland. You can Google it. A man pushed off bus. You'll see the video. Let's see. Yes. This work spawns healthy coping, hence sobriety. I think healthy coping skills and substance abuse is a great topic. You know, I agree, Teresa, and I think that substance abuse, okay, I used to say that it is substance help, because the truth is that the substance was something that initially helped because you could just take the edge off. You know, the world is pointy, right? And one of the things I want to say is that we started to recognize that the substances were forgive me for putting it this way, but they are a substitute for the energy of the seventh chakra. The seventh chakra, thank you, you just said it, Kelly Bell, you're scaring me. The seventh chakra is universal consciousness. And what's that? That's God. That's higher power, if you want to call it. That's Jesus. These are all of the universal consciousness allows us to experience the God of our understanding. Well, but you see, what happened is when we looked at in the 60s, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all of those people who were shooting heroin, and heroin's coming back, right? We're seeing a huge opioid addiction. Part of this is because people are trying to get to God in any way possible. They're trying to get that enhanced experience because they don't want to feel their lives. And I think what I'm saying, and this is what the work that I take on is, feel it, you know, feel it, bring it, let's do this. You know, we're in it, let's have this experience. Like, you know, I was talking to my publishers I mentioned today, and, you know, I said, yeah, I guess the deck's not doing it. She said, the deck's doing really good. And I said, oh, good. I haven't paid attention. And one of the things that happened was, for me, this is just my own stuff. I have to not place my value on the work done. I only place the value on the people who gain from the work I've done. Do you see? There's a big difference. It's not that I'm focusing on you. I think that, you know, when I see people like, and I think some of you, I shared this with you on another broadcast, and it was so helpful to me when a woman was saying, I really wish you wouldn't look at tarot. I really wish you wouldn't do this because it's not good. And I said, I'm doing a tour for my tarot deck. I am always going to be working with my intuition. I feel that what I have is a gift from God, and I feel that it's my obligation to use it, because I don't feel that when we have gifts, I feel that God wants us to share them with other people. I really feel that. And that doesn't mean I'm the way. It means he's the way, whatever you want to call God, right? I believe that. But the thing is, and I didn't talk about it much at the very beginning. I think that what I'm trying to say is that, and I said to this woman, I said, I'm glad that you have found a relationship with God that helps you feel happy, and as have I. Like, I have that relationship. So what I'm trying to say is that as that kind of spiritual, if you will, the person that's always carrying that torch in a way, you have to, I get snarky. Hello. My neighbor got really snarky with me. She's been moving, and she just got snarky about stuff, and I just kind of like ignored it. And I saw her husband today, and he said, "Oh, how you doing?" I said, and he went, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Look, she's great. I love her. I just don't want to get into it, because if I get into it, I'm gonna be lowering my energetic vibration." And he just, but it was okay. Green Herb, thanks for that. I don't know what Green Herb said, so I just, somebody said, okay. How many folks say have the addiction of looking away? I wonder if that's an addiction, though, Kelly Bell. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, He Kates. I think what I want to say, and I appreciate that, because she said loving energy comes from within and it shines from you, Tori. You're human. This thing I want to say is that I am so human, it scares me sometimes, because it's like, one of the best things that really released me from this feeling like I had to be something other than I was. Okay, I have a radio show. It's in an hour and a half, but that's okay. One of the things that really freed me was years ago. I don't know if you all remember Candice Bergen. She played Murphy Brown, and then she tried to redo it, and she was just so stupid, but she was great years ago. And she said this one night, there was an article, they interviewed her, and they said, "Oh, tell us about your life." And she literally said, some days I'm just so tired. I know, right? Everything I could do to just open a can of tuna fish for my daughter and I. And I thought, I'm so glad you said that, because, there are days when we all feel that way. It's not like, some days we're just like, really? I have to open a can of tuna fish. This is crazy. Anybody know the poem by Mariah? Was it Araya Mountain Dreamer? Do you know that poem? Do you guys know that poem? It's a phenomenal, phenomenal poem, and it was years ago when, like, if you owned the right way, they would give you a book deal. It'd be like, and I think that's okay, not offhand. All right, so what I'm going to just see, because it's a phenomenal, let's see, laziness or wanting to be uninvolved. Yeah, I think that it's on my fridge, right? Magnet quote, great, okay. So I'm going to share it with you in a moment, but I just want to say that, what was it you said? I want to say that I think that right now we're tired. I think we're a society of tired. Why don't you think about that for a minute? Aren't you tired? I think it's kind of like, it's not that I don't want to be involved. It's like, if I look and I go, and I was talking to my neighbor's husband as a coroner up in Chicago. And that's a job I don't want. And we were talking about it, and I said, "Oh my gosh." And who said that, Janet? Okay, I don't know. I'm right. I'm tired of cooking. I was trying to figure out what you meant. Autopilot, not going deep. I think the thing is that we get caught up, and as we get caught up, we forget who we are. Isn't that the truth, though? I get so tired. It's so funny, because, like, when I go on the road, right now, when I go to London, I've got I'm there for 2 weeks. I've got pretty much 4 interviews, press interviews a day. I mean, that's how busy I am, right? And, it's interesting, because somebody said to me, "Oh my gosh, how do you do it? How do you keep up with it? How do you do it?" And I go, well, run around for, right? Exactly. I run around for the 2 weeks I'm there, and then I come home and I lay on the couch for 4 months and think about myself because I'm tired. You know, you get tired. You know how you just go, oh, I'm so sleepy. And the thing that I'm learning as I get older, and I hope I can get, is just say, you know what? If you're tired, be like Gavin. Just lie down. You know what I mean? Lie down. You're tired. Lie down. I mean, that's the thing, right? And here's the thing too. One of the things also I want to say about being an empath, Christina, because you're making a very good point. The issue is this: as women, and no offense to any of the guys on the call, that as women we forget that we are operating in a man's world. So we go into a masculine energy. And even as I'm talking to you now, in some ways I'm taking on the masculine energy because that's how we do business, right? That's how we know to do business. But when you say women do business, we kind of talk to each other very differently. Do you notice that? We kind of go, hi kids, what are you doing? You know, men kind of say that stuff just to say it most of the time. And it's very interesting because as an empath, we jump into the masculine trying to help others rather than really sitting back into the feminine and going, I am going to allow this energy, this God energy to come through me and allow you and I to share this time so I can be really present with you. See, the difference between the feminine energy and the masculine energy is, remember that the feminine energy is inclusive and we're connected with each other, whereas the masculine energy is like they've almost got their backs to us because they're protecting, right? So they're not actually in the relationship all the time because most of the time they're looking out for any danger. So if you think about it, as empaths, I think a lot of the mistakes I see readers make is they take something on in their masculine. And what happens is you become exhausted from doing readings like that. You become so tired. And the other thing is you think you need to have an answer. So that's what gives psychics and intuitives bad names. I mean, really, honestly, that's what gives us the really shite names, because it's kind of like we're telling people what to do. It's like, no, I'm not telling anybody what to do. You have your own answer. You have your own wisdom, and whatever means you find it, right, is the most important thing. In the present moments, there's no worry or regret. Wait a minute, let me think about that. I don't know, because right now I'm feeling kind of sad. My neighbor moved today; she's gone, and I really enjoyed her being around. But I also am excited about the new, So I'm really excited about what's on the horizon for all of us. I feel that. Let's see, Kim Smith, good to see you. I always feel better after hearing you. You're always teaching us also. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Revelation. I know, Humanimal. Yeah, like, are you in another part of the world? Or are you in the night shift? Because she was just saying she's going to work. I never want to tell anyone what to do in a reading. I offer suggestions and guidance. Want the client to be empowered. I think the thing is that a real reading isn't a reading. It's a collaboration and a validation. It's me sitting with someone who has everything they already need. They are whole and complete. And, anyone who comes and thinks I'm going to give them something is sadly mistaken. I think that everyone has their own answer. And I think that if we energetically demand it, that means I have to suck it up and grow up. I think we're walking around like little, people just want to suck on the teat. They just want to be like, a puppy, and they don't want to really say, if I bark real loud, I might get in trouble. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Christina. I think that it's the most important thing I can tell you is to be true to yourself in any given moment. I think if anything else, I was really worried about this deck coming out. And it's funny because when you're creating something, you know, I would look at the cards and go, oh my God, I'm going to get killed for that card. People are going to just hate that card. And yet they look at it. I've been watching, there's a few things on YouTube and they do it so well. They do the, as a pet nutritionist, stop the greenies. Yeah, I don't give him them. I stopped. The explosive diarrhea was a problem. I'm glad you said that, Humanimal. I just can't seem to stabilize him. So the gal I leave him with, just so everybody knows, the gal who watches him, she and her husband, she's a vet tech. So she is, and he, like, her husband is crazy about Gavin. I mean, they have like this weird, like, I think they kind of have a boy band or something going. You know what I mean? I think, like, I don't know. Cause he taught Gavin to dance. Okay. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that, you know, in any endeavor that you take on, you know, you look at a card and you go, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And I'm thinking, everybody's going to hate me. And then, yeah, he is nervous. I'm going to be leaving. Yeah, I've got, like, where's the, oh, I don't have the phone here, do I? No, I don't. I took 2 really funny pictures. If you're on Patreon, I'll put them up. I'm going to put them up on my Patreon page. And by the way, for those of you who do or don't follow or don't know, my Patreon's only $5 a month. I did that because I really just, I haven't been doing a lot with it yet because of this book tour. But there are going to be some really cool offerings that are going to come up for my Patreon members because they get it first. And what I do is I've been secretly videotaping my radio interviews. So it's kind of cool because we're putting those up on Patreon. So it's not just you know, because most people just hear stuff. I'm talking to them going, you know, and I'm doing all that. $5. Yeah, it's $5 a month. I mean, that's what I did because I really felt like if I wasn't giving a lot of stuff, you know, and it's just, like I said, it's $5 a month. And what have we been putting up there right now has been mostly the interviews. Oh, the face reading. I did another face reading with Lara on Cindy Watts. That's up there, and that's free for Patreon people. So there's a few things I'm working on putting up there that's kind of fun. Yeah, you know what? It's like, the way I feel about it is, and I'm going to tell you my intention, and then I'm going to talk about YouTube, and then I'm going to, but my intention with doing this was because I really feel there's a lot of value in what I've learned and what I've found from the Chakra Wisdom, from the Chakra Wisdom Tarot, the journey. And it's funny because the journey, this has never been done, by the way, in a tarot deck, where it is decisively feminine. It is completely feminine. Melissa Cosner, yeah, all the money goes to me. It was actually to keep Gavin in greenies. Now it's to pay the vet bills. But don't even start with me. I had this vet that I just want to start hitting people. But anyway, oh, great, thank you. I'm ordering the new deck. Oh, great, Humanimal. Can't wait to see pictures of it. And if you're on Patreon, I think you can put pictures up. You can put pictures up, and, you know, I do interact a little bit more there, just because I can. You know, I can put images up there easier and stuff like that. So, and I'm going to be doing, when I'm in London, I'll be doing like short clips of like, hey, here's me at, like, you know, Elle Magazine or wherever I am, you know, and I'll be doing that. Yeah, Humanimal, thank you so much for joining us. And she's great. I think your day has 48 hours. Where do you find the time to do so much? I don't have a job. I don't have a job. I mean, if you think about it, most people have I've never had a job. I couldn't work for anybody else. I'd get fired. Oh, you're getting it on Monday, Frankendahl. Cool. Yeah, it isn't a joke, Christina, but here's the thing. Neither is kaopectate, okay? Kaopectate is the real freaking deal. He gets a couple sips of that, and it is, yep, this is my job. This is my career. What has finally happened, Hecate's Crossing, is that, and this is the best part, everybody, is it goes back to what I said about what David Lynch told me about when you do something successful, you get to do another one. I'm like this close to a book deal of a book I really want to write. And once I sign that, I'm going to be able to tell you guys what it's about. And I'm so excited because I think it's going to be it's a book. It's a book. But I'm really excited about it. And one of the reasons I'm sharing this with you is because because I've had success. And by the way, the Chakra Wisdom Tarot already has had really nice success with it, but it's because I busted my ass with the Oracle. I just want to say that it really is that cliche of freedom isn't free. It isn't free. We work like hell. And I just want to let you know there are days when I have to just lay there on the ground and think about myself. And I just, I'm like, I tell you, there was a group in California, y'all would love it. It was called Unemployable Women. And I don't know if they still existed. They may not. It was kind of on the internet too for a while, but I loved that group because it was like, oh, that's me. I'm unemployable. Because when I did have an executive job, and I don't want to say which network, but I worked for a network for a little while. And I remember the first week, do y'all want to hear a Tori story? And then I'll let y'all go. This is another Tori story. This is one of those like talk about how to train somebody. Do you guys want to hear it? I don't know if you want to hear it. Nobody's saying anything. I guess everybody's over at Melissa's having that meatloaf. Let's see. Okay, good. Melissa's like, I want meatloaf. Okay. All right. So here's the Tori story. So I worked for a network. I don't want to say which one, but I will say I was young. And I was in my mid-20s. That's how young I was. But I was like one of those people that was like, I just made it my business to move my way up. And I worked there. And I was in daytime television. Christina, right on. Unemployable women are fabulous because it means we think outside the box. So what happened was I would get an assistant. Now I'm 25, and they would send me these assistants, and they're all in those days. In those days, there was answering machines. There wasn't we didn't have cell phones, kids. There was no and guess what? I was on a typewriter, and we went into, it was just the crest of computers then. So I had my floppy disk, right? But anyway, I digress. So I would get these guys. I was supposed to footage of this. Footage of what? No. My life? No. But here's the thing. Yeah, right? Okay. So you do remember those. You're scaring me, Deco. All right. So they would send me these assistants, right? And so the first week I would come in and I go, okay. So, and I hated filing. That was the thing. So I had this pile, right? And I'd put it on his desk and I'd go, all of this has to get done. And if you can, as soon as you get it done, you can leave for the day. And he looked at it and he's like, I'm not going to get this done today. And I said, okay. Well, like I said, as soon as you get it done, you can leave for the day. He said, but my day ends at 5 o'clock. I said, then leave at 5 o'clock and you'll come in tomorrow and there'll be this much left. And then I'll give you the next day's work. Well, I want to tell you that by the end of the first week, he figured out a way to get through that whole pile accurately and working smarter. His day ended at 4 o'clock. And I remember on Friday, it's 4 o'clock. He goes, I'm done. And I said, great, I'll see you Monday. He said, well, what do you want me to do about the phones? And I said, turn on the answering machine. He's like, what? Don't you want me to answer your phone? I said, no, I don't have anything to say to anybody. You go. So he left. Well, by the second week, his day ended at about 3 to 3:30. And by the third, fourth, and fifth week, he was out between 1 and 2. Now, this pissed off the higher ups, right? Because in those days, you're like here, and then you've got like 7 people above you, right? I think they still do that. But anyway, so, and I was a writer, so I was not like, it's a different thing. But anyway, so there was a lot to file, a lot of scripts, a lot of da-da-da. So anyway, so I remember they called me in. You know how they call you in. And what happened was I'm sitting there and there's like 3 big bosses and they're like, Tori, we're having a problem. And I'm like, what kind of problem? And they said, well, it's kind of upsetting the other people in your, because we're all there was a bunch of us on that same level. I said, what is? Well, the way you work with your assistants. I said, I only have one assistant. Well, I know, but because this was my second one, by the way, because my first one had been within, I want to say 7 weeks of working with me. He was promoted, right? He was promoted because he was so smart, and he went into the executive training pool, right? Exactly. So they had another assistant for me. This was the second guy, and they said, but Tori, words come down to us that you let these people go when they are done. They have to, we pay them till 5 o'clock. I said, no, you pay them for excellence. You pay them to come in and think. You pay them because they are being trained to do a job, and they will someday run this network. When you all are counting on your pension, they're going to be running this network. So I want to train people to be smarter. And there's silence. I said, anything else? They go, no. I go, okay. I'm out the door. Within a couple weeks, this guy I went through 2 more assistants before it finally got they were like, okay, what are you doing? And like other people started hating me. And this is something that can happen, by the way, folks. I want to tell you, when you move past mediocrity is going to hate you, and you may feel ostracized. But you know what? It's better to be, I once had this is one of the best things I ever heard. I used to say, but I heard it's lonely at the top. And somebody said, it may be more lonely, but I don't really think that's true. And I went, well, what does that mean? And they go, well, it's only lonely because there's more space and there's fewer of you, and you have more time to yourself and you get to be you. It's really crowded at the bottom. And I thought, ooh, I don't want to be at the bottom. And so what I'm trying to say to all of you is that exactly, I made them look bad because I wasn't training people to be automatons. I was training them to be thinkers, to be independent, to be people that in the world would make a difference by thinking and helping other people be more efficient and think for themselves and be innovative, So my assistants, all of them went on to executives in the network. And what I'm saying is that you're right, Cruz Boston. And here's what happened. Ultimately, I left because I was doing other things. But what I want to say to all of you is that ultimately, everyone that was at my level, who was a little older, you see, I was young, right? And everybody at my level and a little older was a little bit pissed because they're like, well, my assistant stays till 5 o'clock because I need him there. I'm like, well, that's fine. I don't. Why do you think I should do that? And they're like, well, because the other people don't get to leave. I said, so? And I think this is the problem, is that we can't live in a fair world. We have to live in a world that is, it was like Betty Davis said, if you want to raise good children, you're going to have to risk them hating you. Okay? Because this isn't a popularity contest. Our job as trainers, as mothers, as, anyone, as we are training people to grow up, we train them to prepare them for life. And life is going to let you sit at that desk until 10 freaking o'clock at night, slowly pulling each paper off. Or life is going to let you say, no, I'm not staying here. I'm going to go through this freaking pile. And when this pile is done, I'm going to the Hamptons. And you know what? It's so funny you say that, Black Rose. Listen, people that worked for me when I was in California, even, they loved me or they didn't like me. Now, the people who loved me were the people I'd say, I remember my engineer, because I had a recording studio, right? He'd come in, he'd go, okay, so this is what's going on today. I go, okay. He'd be like, do you want to look? No, I don't want to look at any of it. Well, what? I go, it's your show. And there was very interesting because one of the clients came into me and said, so-and-so said this and this, and I don't think it should be done like that. And I said, well, he makes the decisions. I have to consult with him. And what that taught me, and I went out and I said to him, okay, here's the Murphy Brown much. Okay, here's the thing that this person's saying. What did you say? And, he said, well, I told him this. And I said, okay, are you solid with that decision? And he said, I thought I was till you walked in. I said, no. I just mean it in the sense of, do you want my feedback, or are you good with where you are? And he said, I'm actually good with it, Tori. And I go, excellent. And I walked out and I said to the client, it's really up to him. I have to stay hands off because he's doing the work. And it was funny because, we went with that and blah, blah, blah. And a couple days later, he said, what would you have done? And I was like, really? And he said, yeah, I would have done exactly what you did. And he went, oh. And you know what? He said, that's interesting. Why didn't you tell me that? I said, because I wanted you to learn to trust your own instinct with people. And if I told you, you would always be coming to me for an answer or coming to someone else. And you know what? He runs a recording studio today. And you know what? All of those people that I trained in New York, they run the network basically. They're like all, I ran into somebody in the street years ago and they said, God, we all laugh because we're like, some of us like know each other because we're like, you worked for her? It's like, they're like, yeah. And now those people were the first people that allowed remote work conditions. They were the first people that thought, well, my assistant just had a baby and she can do work from home. So, what I'm trying to say is we have to work with each other in a very human way. And that's where humanity doesn't allow us to be that way with others. And a sensible crime. Oh, I love you. I love some of your posts too. Great stuff. Let's see. What did she say? The smart ones figure out what I'm saying and let me fix things. Yep. And you know what? I'll share this with you all. I went to Europe when at one point my recording studio was going on its own, and I went for 2.5 weeks, and so almost 3 weeks because it was like over a period of time. But anyway, every Friday I would order pizza for the staff, right? And I had 2 companies. I had my writing company. I had the recording studio side. I'd order pizza, and I ordered from like this artisan pizza place, right? Like they made great pizza. It was not cheap. It was like $50 for lunch, right? And for 6-7 people, that's a bit of money. So anyway, so it was like a $50 pizzas, right? So I ordered these pizzas, and it was always Friday, and we'd all sit outside because it's California, and we'd have our lunch, and we'd talk. And anyway, I was out of town. And the gal who was overseeing the studio messaged me and said, I ordered pizza. No one was happy. Where do you order pizza from? So, because I'd left money for the pizza. So she just had ordered, whatever. And people were like, we don't order. No, Tori doesn't feed us this, So sometimes, and I think the thing is that there's a saying that I always believed, but when Richard Branson said it, everybody thought it was brilliant. So I quote him, which is that, you take care of your people because they take care of your customers. And that's the truth. And I think that, and I love what you said, Ms. Holmes. Everybody needs a friend like Tori. But, here's the thing. I'm a great friend and I'm a challenging friend because, I won't let people get away with bullshit. Oh, I just said that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I think I won't let people, blow smoke. And it's not in a mean way. It's more like, you know, like I have a very good friend and she was like telling me all about this situation. And I said, babe, is that really true? And she was like, okay, maybe not. So, okay. Sarah Thorpe. Yeah, I just want to really take a moment and shout out everybody to the moderators on my channel because you guys really make a difference. Black Rose 11, Cruise Boston. I'm trying to think who else is on here today. I think some of the other folks took off, but I just want to say that you know, it's kind of it's kind of a real blessing that I get you guys, because one of the things to remember is that when you have fabulous moderators who really kind of get the rhythm of what you're doing, it allows you to do your work. And so truthfully, I was only as good as the way I trained my assistant, because my assistant, remember, it's the weakest link is your greatest. That's your weak link, right? So it was really up to me to make sure that the people around me learned what they needed to learn. Yeah, I think the thing is that kindness without honesty is cruelty. And that's why I feel like being kind is so, so important. And that's why I always say to you guys, be kind to each other, you know, because the thing is we have a finite time. And we have this finite time, and people are afraid of poignancy because they think poignancy is pain, when it actually is an up-leveling of our personal strength. So I was just thinking this because somebody brought into my critique group. I have a Tuesday night writing group, and I love these women. They're amazingly talented. Oh my gosh, like amazing. And one of the women who's kind of working on something, and she writes she brings stuff in every week. And this week she brought in something that was so freaking deep and moving. And it was about, and I don't want to go into the whole story, but it was about a disease that she has struggled with her whole life, a physical one. And we know very little about it, but I learned so much in these 4 pages. And it was so good because it was poignant, it was deep. She was sharing stuff that was real. And I think that the thing I want to tell you that I find very important here is that she was like, I don't know, I don't know if it's any good. I said, you know what? It's brilliant. It's brilliant, like seriously brilliant. And so we're afraid of sharing pain or being in pain. But when you look at poignancy, it's a delicious place to be. You know, when I remember when I buried my father in Arlington, quite an honor, and he was cremated, so they allowed me to put his urn in the ground. And I pointed his urn northeast, because my dad loved New York. And my best friend at the time was with me, Linda, and she said to me, oh, it's so sad. And I said, actually, I find it very poignant, you know, because there are differences. There are subtle differences, which is why language is so valuable to us. For me, which is why the energy of when I pull a card, you know, when this is not a card of death, it's a card of this is a 4th chakra, it's heart. It's the truth of our heart, and feeling like sometimes we just need to pull back. But we're not unsafe, we're just in our own world. And so I want to say that it's okay to have those feelings of frustration or sadness. You know, I was looking today, like I said, I started this full circle, looking out at my neighbor's house, and the final truck moved away, you know, left. And I thought, we didn't, you know, she was very much in upset. She, you know, stressed just about moving. And so we didn't get a chance to really have a proper goodbye. But what I want to say about it is I'm sad. That's all. I'm just sad. Okay, Nikki, where are you? I'm here to observe some level-headed thoughts sometimes because where I live, I don't get it. You know what, though, Nikki? And I'm glad you said that, because here's the solid truth of that. No matter where you are in the world, most of us don't get it. And this is why I started doing the work I did. It's the reason I only have a very small group of friends, and they're all over the world, and it's because the idea that I would really rather not be in any kind of friendship that isn't vibrating at a higher level. I just can't do it. I can't, I just can't do it. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Under some circumstances, dies. I think it's the last chapter of a really good book. That's a really lovely way to put it, Sensible Crime. I heard the greatest quote today. He said, "Let's make kindness great again." That's great. That's great. I feel that when a neighbor moves away, I'm not even close to my neighbors. Yeah, I think, I was never really close to her. I tried to be. And I recognized some interesting patterns in my life because she was a lot like my mother. And I wanted her to like me. And so having her leave now and find a better home, because at first I was like, oh, I've got to move. And now I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I just need to stay put for just a little while and allow that process of my mother's gone to allow me to get to the next level, So, and I just want to say here, Crystal Silverheart just said, I'm just sitting here with the cat. And I want to say, you're not just sitting there with the cat. You're like with a being that adores you. And, I tell you, I really liked this woman. I found her really fun, but she didn't want the kind of friendship that I have with people, and I think that's such a, okay, what's that? Carolyn, I always say Carrie Lynn Dillon. What is your sign and rising sign? Oh, yes. I know, mother's approval, right? Okay, so I am a Sagittarius sun sign, moon Capricorn, and my rising is, and so this is where it kind of flippy flops. I am 0 degree Virgo, and some people say I'm like almost 29 and something Leo. So I find that I flip flop a little. I am more productive on the East Coast where I'm born, because for those of you who remember, if you move, your entire chart changes. So when I was on the West Coast, guess who was like Cancer rising? All emotional. Yeah, Emily. Oh, I know. I think Elizabeth got in touch with you. Yeah, I think maybe she literally, you know what? I think that, I don't know about that, Deco. I think what happened with my neighbor is that she needed to teach me this and then go away. And I do agree with you. I think that I wanted more from the friendship, and I'm glad she left, because I think that it kept me stuck in the idea of I needed that friendship. Oh, 29 degree Leo too. Yeah, Frankenall, there you go. What does rising mean? Melissa, it is the sign that is actually rising in the sky at the time of your birth. So a rising sign or an ascendant, it actually, because it's rising, I want you to think of it like a mask. So what happens is that rising sign is how the world perceives you. Like, because I'm like Virgo rising, even if I have like a torn shirt and my nails aren't done, people go, oh, she looks so organized, and I'm like, ah. So Virgo rising is how the world is going to see me, but I really live like a Sag, and that's a little bit more clutter-buddy. So the rising sign is always when you are, oh, no, you're not dumb. No. What does, okay. Yeah, I love your cat. I'm dumb. I don't know my sign, Cancer. It's okay. Hi, Lost in Translation. Good to see you. I know, me too, Sarah. So I just want to tell this one last story, and then I'm going to go myself. Okay, so I'm going to VidCon, which is VideoCon in Los Angeles in July. And I messaged them, and I said, because every creator is like 20. They're 20. Every creator is like, these are their big speakers. They've got like people who are like, you know, got chains on their belt and, you know, white kids who have their hair standing straight up. I mean, it's kind of like, well, really? Like, that's YouTube? Like, don't you have, and I said, don't you have a better cross section of some of the people that are not 20? Now, no offense to anybody who's 20, but I think we need a good cross section. They didn't respond, but I thought that was interesting. I don't know if y'all have noticed it, but the big influencers are all like, you know, they're all like 20, and it's, yeah, so there you go. Okay. Chiron, that is a different show. I know. Anybody in the UK, anybody there, anybody coming to any of my stuff, it's kind of late anyway if you're in the UK. So what I want to say to you all is I am going to be in London. I'm going to be at the Henge, which is supposed to be beautiful area. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to be in Birmingham just for a night. I'm going to be doing Tree of Life there, which is a great group. They're so lovely. Anybody else in UK? No? I don't have any London people. Okay. Are you always introspective? Do you ever let loose? Coming back from space where I feel shame for being me. I got called out for being introspective. Oh, you know something? There's all like, yeah. I feel like, do you ever watch, do you ever see Fruitcake Lady? Do you ever see her, Emily? Google it. She was on, like in the 80s, okay? She was on Jay Leno. And she'd be like, what? You know? Anyway, I love to see New Zealand. Where are you, Ms. Holmes? You're in the UK. Are you north? Because I'm going to be going to Scotland in October, I think. My friend Lara wants me to come. Yeah, I'm funny as hell. And I'm also introspective. You know, there are moments when it's like, oh, you're way north. You know what? I bet you have lots of whippets up there. I'm telling you, I love London and the UK because I walk around, you know. Hello to all the Euros. Yay! I love all my European people. Chakra Wisdom Tarot came out yesterday. So if you think about it and want to support an artist, definitely get it. Please remember Patreon is $5 a month. And I'm putting a lot of my secret taping of some of my interviews up there that are pretty good. Oh, I make the Tree of Life. Oh, how cool. Yeah. You're about 5 hours from London. So Crystal, are you south or you're probably north? You do have a whippet? Oh, whippets. I'm sorry, Gavin just went, what? Hi, Gav. Gavin's not. See, look. She has whippets. Gavin, she has whippets. He's like, okay. Oh, here comes Owen. And so my bag is my tube bag. Hold on, tube. I love my transportation bag. It's a fabulous handbag. I love it. So it's on the way to me. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, Stephanie, I'm glad you're here. Gavin is like, he's not feeling 100%, babe. Julie, you know, it's interesting. I just want to say to you about being sick because I don't have time to get sick before I go, but I'll probably get sick when I come back. Being sick is often around confusion. It has personal confusion. So there you go. Newcastle Airport. Oh, you're close. Oh, it's just 5 hours. My friend Michelle Knight she has a castle in the south, and I just haven't. Oh, whip. Isn't that a drug? No, whip it. It's a dog. Okay, so what I'm going to say, everybody, is please like the video if you haven't already. It really does help the ranking. Please remember to subscribe and share. Definitely share with people because it makes it easier for me to do this a little bit because I haven't been moving up in the rankings, and that's because I'm not doing a lot. I haven't been talking about Chris Watts, you know, because I refuse to talk about something because it's usable. I'd rather talk about things when they are crime, and there are some crimes I want to bring up coming up pretty soon. Yeah, Stephanie, you probably are. So just sleep. You know, sometimes you just need to lay on the couch, watch Columbo, and eat ice cream. Or not. I know. Well, actually, I've got right now, I think there's 40 thumbs up on this end, but you know, Stephanie, go rest. And just remember, you can do whatever you want when you're sick. That's part of it. Colombo, yes. I'm going to go watch an episode. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. I am going to be broadcasting from London. And so, oh, okay, good. Okay, good. So, Emily, just everybody, if you would hit Emily's, she has her thing is right there with the little wrench. Hit her name and then go subscribe. She needs to get some subscribers going. So please support her. Right, exactly. All right, everyone. I am just Monk. I got a Tony Shalhoub story that's very funny, but that's another show. Thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. It's like the only way you'll find out when I'm on, because, you know, and I'll be doing, you know, I'll be posting pictures and all that fun stuff. So definitely join my Patreon. I am going to be putting some stuff on there as well. And love you guys more than you'll know. And I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful I get to talk to you about what I love, and I get to share you with others, because you all are what make this conversation happen. So much love, everyone. I will see you when I get back, and I'm going to be live from London. Take care. Bye for now.